All right, everybody, this is a opportunity for you guys to get some corrections or extra credit points on y'all's interactive raters. I am going to be going over uh, how to correctly formulate or form, create, write, however you want to say it, how to do one of these correctly, because there are a lot of you still that are really struggling with trying to make sure that you get a full paragraph on your critical response. So you really need to make sure that you are doing this correctly so that you can get the points that you need, because I'm seeing a lot of your summaries are really, really good. You're getting threes, and some of you are starting to get fours on them, but you're still not passing the interactive reader because you are not doing the critical response correctly. You're not making sure that it is that paragraph response, and that's dragging your grade down. So in order to hopefully help y'all, get uh, some kind of guidance on this, I'm making this video so that you guys can watch me do a critical response, uh, and then hopefully after you have seen it, you will have a better idea on how to get this done. All right. So, excuse me. The example that I have for you guys is one that you've already done. Some of you have already done this one. It was assigned to you guys for your first interactive reader over saving the Colorado River Delta. It was from the first week we did interactive readers, so kind of the practice one. So it kind of makes sense for me to start off with this one so that, it'll be familiar to some of you guys. Some of you guys, it won't be, but that's okay. Not every you the method is important, not the text itself. All right. Um, so for what I've done on here is I have my critical response organizer. Please, 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 if you are struggling on this critical response, please make sure you are using this. Last year it was like pulling teeth to get them to do get the students to do this also, but using these response organizers really helped out getting their grades up on the interactive reader. Um, the ones that were consistently making, starting to make B's, I had finally gotten a few A's in there before we had left for spring break for COVID. They were the ones that were using these organizers consistently. All right. At least for a full grading period, they were using these and getting the practice, um, getting the support that they needed to formulate this until they were able to do it on their own, and then they stopped using them. But the ones that started off using these consistently, they're the ones that ended up getting A's on the interactive readers toward the end of the year. So just FYI, please use these. They're available for you. They're going to keep being available for you. I've got hard copies here for those of you that are face-to-face. Just use them or use some sort of variation of it. All right. So at the top of my critical response, let's say I have read through the whole text and I've done the summary and I'm now at the critical response. Okay. So sometimes I don't have access to the computer or to the text or to the internet. I'm not in the right class. I'm not where there's internet. I'm not whatever. I want to at least be able to know what question am I answering, because up here in this first box, it says in one sentence, answer the questions. Well, it's not going to help me very much to do this homework at home if I do not have access to the questions. All right. So I wrote the question, the critical response question up here at the top. Do you think it's important to save the Colorado River Delta? And you explain. All right. Notice I'm not writing the whole thing, because if you remember after it says explain, there's bold words. Well, it's on all of them. On all of the interactive reader, after the question or after it says why not, or explain or whatever, or justify your response, it'll say use evidence from the text. I'm not writing all of that. That is a given. All right. It's kind of self-explanatory down here. All right. But write out the entire question up here, either up here or down here at the bottom, somewhere along the sides, wherever, so that you can have a copy of the question with you whenever you're working on this. Those of you that are really teeny tiny handwriters, you could probably write the question along the top, this top line up here. I write big, so I put it up there. All right. So that is my question. I don't need the text really to answer that. I mean, I've read the text obviously, so I mean, I kind of sort of have an answer for that, but your topic sentence, you can answer that question. So I filled one out kind of already so that we could save some time. You're not sitting here watching me write. So here is my topic sentence that answers the question. So you can see the question all the time. It says, I think saving the Colorado River Delta is very important. Okay, that is one sentence, and I have my sentence count over there because remember, a paragraph, you need 5 to 7 sentences. Okay, so 5 to 7 sentences for a paragraph. That's a paragraph symbol. All right, so 5 to 7 sentences. I got one. All right, didn't even need to use text evidence for it. All right. Now I go into my reasons. It's not just enough I have that one sentence, because remember, a one sentence answer is going to fail you every time. I need to explain, because that's part of the question. You have to explain, why is it important to save the Colorado River Delta? All right. So I have, that's another reason why I had this pre-written, because I knew I'd be writing a lot. I kind of have my reasons for it here. Now you see over here to the side, there's 2 sentences in here. It is okay if you have 2 sentences in a box. It's fine, all right? One sentence kind of has my explanation a little bit, but it kind of explains why my text evidence ties into my reason, okay? So it said I chose this second sentence starter because, you know, they gave you the sentence starters, and might as well not reinvent the wheel. I have my sentence starter here, and then I started my explanation for my first reason up here. I believe that because a lot of the plants and animals that call this place home are no longer able to live there. Period. There's a sentence. Okay. All right. So, I mean, that's a good reason, but it doesn't have the hardcore text evidence. It's not a piece of text evidence that is going to really convince anyone too much. But I kind of wrote up here where I got that first bit from. So the first sentence came from screen 4. The second sentence comes from screen 6. So they're no longer able to live there. This is because of the 70% decrease in the water flow, which caused the delta to shrink by 2,750 square miles. Period. There's 2 sentences there. So I'm at 3 sentences already. I haven't even gone past the second box. All right. So here is my statistics, my hard text evidence that backs up my reason, okay, and that backs up my explanation, okay, and it's a pretty good argument, or a pretty good reason for why I think that saving the Colorado River Delta is very important. Okay, now we move on to the second reason, because, you know, 3 sentences we're getting there, but it's not enough. We need 5 to 7. All right, so I go into my second reason. This time I wanted to do something different. I chose this top sentence starter. A second reason, I think that. Okay, cross that out. I have my where I got my text evidence from. A second reason I think that is because the people who live there are no longer able to grow their food, since the area is covered in salt flats that are dry and have no life. I kind of said have no life instead of like arid or barren, and kind of in recognition that not many people are going to know what arid means. So dry and arid. Okay, so that's kind of the same thing, but have no life is kind of an easier way to say that, less explanation that way. So that's one sentence. So I'm at 4 sentences now. Reading through the text, it kind of gets a little bit repetitive. There's no other major main reason that I can pull from the text. However, I'm at 4 sentences now. I can skip this last reason, come down here and make my conclusion sentence. That is why I believe that saving the Colorado River Delta is so important, period. And I now have my 5 sentences. All right. So that is kind of how you can look at that. So now you take your sentences that you've made here, if you have issues with spelling, you can open a Word document and type all this into a Word document first and do your spell check and grammar check and all of that stuff in there first, and then copy and paste it over to the critical response window once it's all been edited and everything to your satisfaction. But that's 5 sentences right there. And I only really have 2 major reasons. All right. One of my reasons ended up having 2 sentences, but that's fine. That's okay. As long as I'm getting my 5 sentences and they all flow like they're supposed to. All right. So having 3 reasons is, I mean, it's not important, but making sure you have this sentence count and that it all ties in together like it's supposed to, that is what is important, okay? If you need to pause the video here so that you can kind of take notes or finish taking notes, let's slide this up so that it's all in here. If you looked at the instructions for some of this, there's some things that you have to do with this. Otherwise, if you are watching this video and you have interactive reader missing, you can go and get the graphic organizer from my table, or you can print it off if you're at home, or you can use a sheet of notebook paper and just have, you know, the 5 boxes or 4 boxes or however many well, yeah, you need 4 or 5 boxes. You know, topic sentence, conclusion sentence, reasons 1, 2, 3. As long as you have all of that there, you can use that. If you're missing assignments, you can, you know, play this video back as you're going through your missing interactive reader and fill out your interactive reader at the same time as I'm filling out mine, just so you can kind of have that backup support if you need it. And then if you're doing corrections, you know, you finished them all, but you failed some, so you're doing corrections, you know what you need to do. You have the instructions for what you need to do there. And if you are watching this video and you have an extra credit opportunity, this is kind of the same outline you would use for your extra credit opportunity. You know, what is your answer, the reasons why, and then your conclusion sentence for, you know, wrapping it up. Those are the reasons why I believe whatever. Okay. If you have any questions over this, please feel free to message me on Schoology. I may not always answer immediately, but I do always answer in due course and in due time, either by actually doing what you are asking of me to do, or I respond in some form or fashion. So good luck on y'all's interactive readers. I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys can do now that you have a better understanding of how these need to be completed. All right. Good luck, guys.